Hello, welcome to the Cora Elise show where you get to laugh, learn and grow with me every single week. On this episode, I have Livia joining me, who is also owner of Cafune Cafe in Preston, which is a South American cafe. We discuss her transition from Brazil to the UK and how she felt she was losing her identity, as well as what she had to leave behind. We discuss the Brazilian culture and how that differs from being in the UK. We also talk about her journey in becoming a mother during the pandemic. Make sure you stick around to the end to see what advice Livia gives to people who want to start their own business or own their own shop. Enjoy the show and don't forget to rate, subscribe and share with friends and family. Hi Livia, welcome to the Cora Elise show. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You good? Feeling alright?
Yes.
Good. I'm
Nice
so
to be
glad
back.
to be back here drinking this coffee
I
right now.
know.
Honestly, it's like, obviously if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see this beautiful Cafune, best cafe in Preston. But if you're listening,
Most colourful one for sure.
that's it. We need colour. But yeah, if you're listening, guys, we're sat in Cafune Cafe in Preston, which is Livia's cafe as well. South American cafe as well, so you know it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
So whereabouts in South America you're from?
I'm from Brazil, from the
Brazil.
northeast of Brazil, the
Amazing.
hottest part of the country.
Oh, that sounds amazing right now.
Yeah.
So I think it would be really nice for the listeners if you said like, welcome to the Cora Elise show in like a Portuguese.
Yeah,
In Portuguese, yeah?
Bem-vindos ao Cora Elise show.
Oh my god. I might just take that and edit it and just put it on all of them. That is amazing. So how long have you been in the UK then?
5 years now.
5 years. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not a long time really.
Yeah. It's still like, it doesn't feel like it's been a long time, but at the same time, it's been so intense that it feels like a lifetime.
And so much has happened in that 5 years as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, like obviously you've moved, you've got your cafe, you're now a mum as
I
well.
know.
Amazing, in 5 years so much happens, isn't it?
A lot.
So when do you transition from being in Brazil to the UK? I can imagine that's like complete different culture, like complete different.
Absolutely. Well, first, I used to be a teacher in Brazil, a language teacher. So I was teaching around South America. I went to Colombia first, then I went to Argentina. Then in Brazil, I met my husband. He's from here, and then we got married, moved here, and decided to start a new business. But yeah, it was like in 2015 that I moved here.
Okay. Did you ever think that you was going to move like to the UK, or did you think you were going to be
No,
Brazil?
it was so unexpected because our plan because we went to live in Argentina together, we were both teaching, and then we thought, well, we need to settle a little bit, find a place where we should feel a little bit more like home.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to come here because it was too far from Brazil, from my family.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought about going to Colombia where I had lived before. And I love their culture, I love their vibe, their food. It's like one of my favorite countries ever, Colombia. And then we tried, but because of visa procedures was getting too complicated, then we ended up coming here just to visit his family. And then he proposed. I said yes. And then, all right, let's try to go back to Colombia. But then just life happens and we were staying here. We got married and okay, let's give it a try here in Preston, see how I adapt. And here we are.
Amazing. Such a nice story. I think with I mean, if you've never been to Brazil like myself, I know it would be such a beautiful place, but I know a lot of people sort of have that stereotype of two things: Carnival, Rio, the birds, football, and then also you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's dangerous."
It's very dangerous.
So
yeah.
what's, obviously you've lived there, you've been brought up there. What's your take on that?
I think because Brazil is such a big country, it's very easy for people to generalize, to just say, to make stereotypes based in one place. I'm not saying that Brazil is the safest place in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but depending on where you are, if you are in a big city, obviously you're gonna have more chances to something bad happen to you, for crime to happen. But if you are in a like smaller place, it's not like what you see in the movies or anything like that. Where I'm from is a very big city, like around 3 million people live
What's
there.
the name of the place?
It's called Fortaleza.
Okay.
So there is like some areas where it's more dangerous, some areas where you feel safe, where you can just walk in the street normally. We are so used to this type of environment, unfortunately, that it just becomes natural for us just to be aware that, all right, let me just look around, not going out, holding my phone all the time, this type of things, but not everywhere. Yeah.
I think it's such a shame as well that people straight away focus on the dangers of places rather than the beauty of it. So like in Brazil, like I mean, I can't wait till the day I could go. I would like bring it back. I'm in Brazil.
Oh my goodness. I can see you there.
Yeah.
You would
I might not
there,
come
like,
back.
easily.
Yeah, I won't be coming back, honestly. But yeah, like I mean, like we said before, you know, the story of coming here and then being proposed to and then starting life here is beautiful. But I imagine you must have left so much behind. Like all your family living in Brazil still.
All my family.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm the only one who flew away.
It's such a big jump. Like, how did you sort of deal with that at the time? Was that not something that registered until later?
I think it was a process because first I went to Colombia for 7 months, and I knew that I was there for like that time, that length of time. So I knew that I was coming back. So it was my first experience abroad, and it was like different, even though Colombia is in South America, we share lots of things culturally, but it's also a different country, different language. They speak Spanish, I speak Portuguese. It's different. So that was my first experience, but I came back to Brazil. So 1 year later, I applied for another job in Slovakia to teach English for babies, like kids in a nursery. And that, I think it was my second biggest step, because then I was like crossing the Atlantic, going then to a absolutely completely different culture. It was the first time that I was experiencing winter.
Yes, we experienced that all around here.
I had no idea how to say hi in Slovak. So it was very different. So I think that was the second step of like leaving home, being in a completely different comfort zone for me. And then I went to Argentina. When I went to Argentina, I left my job in Brazil, but I was still going to teach English. So I knew, well, I'm just here in Argentina, just very close to Brazil. If anything goes wrong, I just go
it's
back.
very similar to me right now. I'm living in Birmingham and literally just like an hour and a half drive, I can come back here.
Exactly.
And at the time I was like, oh my God, like everyone was saying, you know, how is it like being away from family? I'm like, well, it's just 1.5 hours away, 2 hours if that with traffic, and I can go and see family. That's why, for me, I think it's not spoke about a lot that if you go somewhere to, whether it's a relationship or to grow, you know, financially or your career or whatever it is, it's not spoke about everything else that comes with it. So leaving the family, leaving your friends, leaving, you know, somewhere you brought up around.
You leave your family, you leave your comfort zone, you leave everything that you used to your whole life, but you go because you believe that something better is waiting for you. You believe that you can build something else, and you have to take the chance. You will never know if you don't try. So that's what always like pushed me to do these things. Like even when I went to Colombia, we were talking about stereotypes. Colombia is another country that there's lots of stereotypes about them, and even in Brazil, we think about them the same way that the rest of the world. Oh, it's very dangerous there, it's all about drugs. And when I was looking for jobs to teach there, I was like, right, I'm going to see what it is. I'm going to see if all these things that people talk about is true or not, but through my own eyes, not just believing in everything that people tell me. And it was such an amazing experience because I completely changed my view about Colombia. Honestly, I can say that's my favorite place in the world. It's where I would call my second home.
Oh wow.
Obviously, they have also problems. It's no way near what you see in those things like narcos anymore. It has changed a lot. So I lived in Cartagena. That's like one of the most touristic places there. But I had the chance to travel, for example, to Medellin, where is the house of Pablo Escobar and all these things. And I was impressed with the city. It's such a developed city, such a cultural places. I used to say to my friends that, oh, if one day I have kids, I want them to grow in Medellin because there is so much going on, like cinema, art, theater, all for free for people. So things change, like people thrive even through inequality and all these things.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you take people's opinions too much of a place or a person or whatever it is, and you don't go and see for yourself, how are you going to grow?
Exactly.
And like, if you were still in Brazil, I imagine from going to all these other places, including the UK, so much growth has happened in that time, which might not have happened if you stayed in Brazil.
Definitely.
Much as like, I would rather be in Brazil right now myself. But
definitely, there are so many things I would never know, like I would never know about Colombia. I would never know what it is like, even in Argentina, which is, they say like it's the European country of South America. Then going to Slovakia and learning about this other side of Europe as well, that even people from here sometimes don't experience. So when I moved to England, I already had all this background of like being a bit more open to whatever was in front of me. I think if I had just came from Brazil to straight away to the UK, it would have been a big shock.
Yeah.
Because in Brazil we are very open to people, like we are very social in a way, like we go to each other's houses. We don't just go out for drinking and eating. We go out to people's houses to be together, have barbecues. Like it's very natural for us to meet someone in 1 week. The next weekend we are in their houses.
Yeah.
So if I had just moved from there to here, I think it would have been way more difficult.
Yeah. And I don't think there's any fault on like English mentality, but I know it's a big thing when you go somewhere, and I think a lot of Mediterranean and South American, they are very welcoming. So like, even myself, when I've been to Cyprus quite a lot, and then someone who I met, who I'm still friends with now, said to me, I met her one night at a restaurant, and she was like, let me show you around Cyprus and show you the culture. Yeah. And I was like, why is she doing this?
Why are you being so nice?
What do you want?
Yes.
Because if that was here, and you met someone here and they said, I'll show you around, say if you went Manchester today or whatever, and they're like, show you around Manchester, like, what? Are you going to rob me? That's how bad, like, the mentality of English goes.
But that is so, that's what's difficult for me to understand, because here you have lots of things that other countries don't have, like safety,
But it's too safe, and that's the problem.
I think that maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Because we have all the reasons for being like that, for being like, oh, I'm not gonna trust you, you're gonna take me to look around the city, you're gonna rob me, you're gonna rape me, you're gonna do...
Yeah, you think the worst. Yeah.
But we're still like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I know. Obviously that, I did end up going, I didn't get killed or anything, so I went around Cyprus, and this girl was lovely, and I'm still in contact with her now, and I just think, why did my brain go to that place just for a second? I mean, I like to think of myself quite open as well. Yeah. But just for that second, that split second, I did think that, and I think that is the English mentality there. Let's just move that, because I think people, that's at the forefront of the brain, and they won't even be open to sort of giving someone that chance or going to explore. They'll just stay in their own bubble and they won't grow.
It's understandable in a way, because we live in a world that there is lots of bad things happening, and it's like a defense mechanism that we have as well. But if we have that turned on like constantly, we're gonna miss out so many opportunities to meet new people, to experience new
100%.
things, or to meet like good human beings, because we have lots of them around.
I do believe everyone has got some kind of good in them, even if sometimes when you speak to someone, like I make it my mission, if someone looks down or sad, I'll try and make them smile. Even if they look like the most stuck up person ever, I'll be like, are you okay? Probably just annoy them, but I think there is...
I think that's me.
I think there is someone... No, it's not. There's someone like, you know, that... There might be, you don't know what people are going through as well. So sometimes, even if someone might look a certain way, you don't know if that person's having the most depressive week of their life, maybe lost a job or whatever. And you don't know what people are going through. You just got to give people that chance, haven't you?
I just remember when I was in Colombia and I got like the wrong bus, and I was asking the driver, "Oh, sorry, I think I'm lost." And then someone heard me saying that I was lost, like a lady, and then she said, "Oh no, you have to. Let's get out of the bus here." She got out of the bus with me, waited for the next one, told the driver where I wanted to go, and just left once I was in the bus. And I was all the time thinking, why is she doing that? Even though in Brazil we have this as well, but I think in Colombia it's like another level.
That's beautiful though.
I know.
That's really nice, because I think here as well, like, everyone's rushing for time. So everyone's too busy in their own little world. They're not very present. So they're thinking about the next day or the next day at work or something else, and like they're not really just being in that moment when they might see someone who's struggling or lost or whatever it is. They're not really, they're just focused on themselves and their own little journey, aren't they? But which is fine to a certain point, but I think, you know, you've got to be a bit more present, and if you do see someone and you know.
But then I have something positive from here that we don't have where I'm from, related to this as well, because I come from a very big city, and I think big cities in general, people have this mentality: I'm too busy, I have my own thing to do, you do you. And then when I moved here, I'm glad that I moved to a place that's not so big, because Preston is a big city, but it's not the biggest.
No, it's not south. Like, it's more rushed in south.
Yes.
And again, you've got good and bad sides to that. Like, you've got a lot of things going on that you can you can drive yourself, you know, in a career or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's more chilled, but...
And I can see a difference even from Preston to Manchester. Here people still like smile at you, say good morning, people still care a bit about each other. And this, in my city, I think in the daily routine, you don't see this as much, like people saying good morning just because they're passing. And I see this way more here. Yeah.
I think as humans anywhere, like you said, if you're in certain parts of Brazil, you're going to have certain parts that are a bit more dangerous than others, a bit more busy. And same with the UK, you're going to get places that are dangerous and places that are more busy lifestyle, hectic and more chilled. I think you just got to have the balance of the two, haven't you, really?
And choose something that like works for you, because some people love this hectic life. Some people love just to be in like the biggest city ever, and some people are more chilled. They just want like something a bit more like friendly. So I think we have to be open, but we also have to look at ourselves to see what fits our life in that moment. Because years ago, I would never see myself, I would never think that I would enjoy living in a smaller place. And now that I moved here, that I had the experience of living in a smaller place where I don't have to spend like 2 hours in a bus going to work and then another 2 hours to come back home, I don't want that life anymore, because I think life is too short for you to spend just like driving and working. And also becoming a mom makes me value my time even more. So it's just like focus on what you want for your life as well. Yeah,
100%. I agree with you on that one. When you moved here, obviously you've been here 5 years now. What did you find, like, with obviously you do get some good English people. I'm not saying everybody's like that, you know. But
I know it just sounded like it's horrible.
But like you do get, you know, some people that are a bit more ignorant. They've not explored as much. They've just been here, you know, in England in the little bubble, and they haven't really seen many cultures. Have you ever experienced any ignorance from someone from being here?
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay. Do you want to share?
Yes. I try not to get offended, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, we live in a world where you have Google, where you have internet on your hand all the time. Come on, do your work as well. Don't just expect me to educate you about everything. Mm-hmm. So sometimes if I'm in a good mood, I'm going to say, no, sorry, love, it's not like that. And sometimes I say, I'm just going to ignore you. But yeah, I had people asking if it's common for everybody to have parrots as their pets, or...
Is it? I'm joking.
But my grandma had one.
You know what? Rio is an amazing film.
It's not that everybody walks with a parrot on their shoulder.
But I suppose it's the same as, like, you know, does everyone eat fish and chips in England? You know what I mean?
It is.
A lot of people do.
Or like everybody drinks tea at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it's just that stereotype, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone else. I mean, I imagine a lot of people can samba in Brazil. Just baby sambering.
Or they just imagine, like, for example, my mom is white. And I have some of my best friends, they are white, blonde, because Brazil is so mixed, and we have like lots of backgrounds, Europeans, native Indians. It's a big mix. So yes, so you'll find all kinds of ethnic backgrounds in Brazil, but people still think that everybody in Brazil should have my color, my hair. And when they see me, or some pictures of me with some people from Brazil that are not the same color as me, are they Brazilian? Yes.
Yeah.
So things like that. But I've never had like someone asking, oh, did you live in a favela, or someone in your family involved with drugs and crime.
Yeah. I mean, that's good that no one said that, because you do get a lot of people saying like, oh, I wouldn't go to Brazil, or I wouldn't go to Jamaica, or certain places, because of straight away they're thinking that the danger's there. But I mean, you could have more danger walking down the street in the wrong place here.
Yes, exactly. You have to be careful wherever you go if you're a tourist, especially because when we go visiting a place, we are blind, aren't we? We are just looking at everything that's beautiful, that's different. And then we put ourselves in danger because we're not paying attention to real life. But yeah, this could happen here or anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely. It could happen anywhere. But again, like you said, it's just that sort of if someone sees you and they hear an accent, or if you look a certain way, you know, sometimes it is just a little bit of ignorance, then just need a bit more education on it, but then it's just bland, like just plain and simple ignorance sometimes.
Once, I think this happened here in the cafe actually. A customer came and I think he had seen some movies about Brazil or something. Okay. And he was trying to teach me about Brazil. He was like, oh, but here in the South, this is how people do it, isn't it? And it's, yes, but people not always do like that.
Did that not drive you insane?
And then he was like, yes, they do. Right.
So he was trying to tell you about your culture.
Yeah. That was the only time that I was like, come on, shut up.
Yeah, just trying to like buy you look, yeah. Would you say you had much loss of identity coming here?
I think so. I fight a lot against this. I think this is my biggest struggle. It's like not losing who I am because of the new culture. At the same time as I want to absorb the culture here as well, because if I moved here, I'm not going to be, oh, everything here is horrible, it's not like in my country, I'm just going to eat rice and beans every day because that's what we do in Brazil. No. I try to embrace the culture here as well. I like lots of things from the culture here, but I'm always like trying to think, am I giving up too much? Am I forgetting who I am just to try to belong here. So I always have that little voice in the back of my head saying like, don't give up this. I always joke with my husband when I do something very British and he plays with me and he said, oh, you sound so British now. Oh, yeah, I've been colonized.
But I think, you know, you're never going to lose that fully. Like, you'll always have that. And then you just have a balance of, you know, again, all different cultures. And
I think that's the thing, the balance of like, remember who I am, where I came from. And I think the main thing is like being myself, because I'm very like open-minded. I like to talk a lot. I'm very friendly. And then when I find that barrier with British people, when I meet lots of people, but for me it's harder to like break that ice to get closer. Then I find myself getting a bit colder as well.
Right.
Because I should not do that, because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that I try to find a balance.
Right, got you. It's interesting though, because like, I think maybe the shops helped hold on to the culture a little bit as well.
A lot.
Because obviously you are selling, you know, you're selling the culture as well. So if you wasn't doing that, and say if you was, you know, just working somewhere in an English shop or somewhere else, you might have lost that a little bit, because it's almost like a reminder every day.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it says it on the cup, so you can't forget.
I know, South America.
Yeah. If ever you feel like you're losing your identity, just read the cup.
South America, look at this word.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know what the word means? Cafuné?
Don't tell me, you've told me this already before. Is it to stroke a loved one's hair?
Yes, to like this. Someone that you love, that cannot be like just anyone.
Yeah,
because that would be creepy.
That would be a bit creepy. Yeah. I know they're very open people, but I don't know about going around stroking.
Don't go to Brazil stroking people's hair.
No, Cafuné. I think a lot of people, when they travel as well, it goes two ways. So they can either, a lot of people I've heard, they said they find themselves quite a lot, and I've travelled on my own as well, and I feel like it's such an experience that everyone needs to have.
Yes.
Like, I think there's so much growth and so much reflection that happens when you just, even if it's just on your own in stillness. But I know a lot of people do lose their identity as well, and almost go through a bit of a struggle of like, who am I? Like, you know.
But you know, it happens the other way as well. Like, I've experienced, because living in another country for such a long time, when you go back to your own country, you have that cultural reverse. You feel like uncomfortable in your own country. It's like, I belong here, but I've been so long living abroad that there is some disconnections. It's very interesting, and at the same time a bit scary.
Yeah.
That's why I keep that little voice like, don't lose who you are.
Well, things are always changing everywhere as well. Yeah. So imagine, you know, if you do go back in a few years' time, do you go back regularly?
It's been almost three years
okay.
I don't go
so
back.
I mean, so much might have changed in that time.
Completely.
And you'll go back, and another word might be invented or something. You'd be like, what?
My brother came to visit, and then he was saying that your accent is very weird in Portuguese at the moment. And I said, why? I said, because I can hear you speaking Portuguese, but there is a little bit of English accent mixed with your Portuguese
God, in 5 years.
I know.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's all good. And Portuguese, there's obviously, if you go to Portugal, obviously speak Portuguese there, but there's two different, it's Brazil Portuguese and then Portugal.
It's the same language, but it's not.
Okay, it's like different slangs.
Yeah, it's like lots of different expressions. We use the same word, same pronunciation, but for different meanings. Mm-hmm. The accent is completely different. Right. So sometimes we say Brazilian Portuguese and European Portuguese because they are very different. Yeah. So if you learn European Portuguese and go to Brazil, people will understand you, but it's gonna be very, very different. They say that Brazilian Portuguese is more like musical. There's more like ups and downs in the
because
rhythm.
When I went to Portugal, I like to learn a bit of language before I go anywhere anyway, and I learned a bit over there. It seemed almost like aggressive.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
very stern, yeah, and almost like if someone's a bit like German, I suppose, in Russian. Like if someone's saying something really nice, it's almost like they're shouting at you, like they're telling you off. You're like, oh, they just said thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, obrigada. Okay.
Sorry, I'm going.
But it's more like calm and like musical in Brazil then.
It is, but because we are very loud and we are very excited and intense about things. When we're together in a group speaking Portuguese, it may sound like that. Arguing.
You know what I think that is though? It's passion.
Yes,
it's more passion. It's more passion. That's it.
It is.
Even if it's about like the rice and beans, like this rice and beans is amazing, but
it's amazing. It's so good. You have no idea.
That's it. Because the present at the moment and the passionate, that's fine. You know what? I need to move over there.
My husband sometimes when we're talking and I started like getting passionate about something. Why are you shouting? I'm not shouting. I'm just excited.
Do you know what? It all makes sense. I'm gonna question where I'm from. I think there's something going on.
You have some Brazilian.
I mean, I have South American in me.
Do
I have
you?
Cherokee in me, so maybe that's where it's linked. That could be what it is. So a lot of people, if they are traveling, like I said, they'll sort of go one way or the other, or they might sort of do a bit of a U-turn, lose their identity a little bit, then find it again.
Yeah.
If you was to speak to anyone who was thinking to say do the opposite of you and sort of move to Brazil, what advice would you give to them?
Go with your mind open to learn, because nothing is gonna teach you better than being there, seeing things with your own eyes, experiencing things with your own life. Books are not gonna teach you, movies are not gonna teach you. Once you're there, you're gonna figure it out what that means for you to be there. And living in the present now it's just like another level of experience. If I had read about Colombia or Slovakia and all those things before I experienced it, it wouldn't have been the same. So just be open to learn from what that country is trying to teach you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I like that because, you said something important there about like not letting books teach you in that sense, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to traveling especially, they'll read all of these books, all this research, but they won't apply it, so they won't actually go and experience it, or they'll have this expectation.
The expectation, that's the word. You can, obviously, it's impossible not to get expectations, but be ready to change it. Be ready to like break them completely and say, oh, that's nothing like I had thought that it was.
I think it's very similar to, if you go on holiday and you go to the complexes where people just stay in the complex and you've got restaurants and everything, and they say they've been to Brazil. If they've been in you have not been to Brazil.
You have not.
I remember
going to go and eat from street food.
Street food, definitely. Like when I went to Mexico, I spoke to a few people over there, and they said that they go to Mexico every single year, routinely. This is their destination. And I was there for 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, I went everywhere. And I was speaking to these people saying, oh, have you been to Chichen Itza? Have you been here? Have you been there? And they was like, what? No.
What was that?
And they've been going like literally 10 years in a row. Like, where have you been then? You haven't been to Mexico. And I think so many people
You're
do
just
that.
Collecting some nice hotels and you're on your travel journey.
That's it, getting the magnets and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, it's if you're just going for a beach holiday, and that's fine, but I think if you're wanting to experience culture, you're not going to get it from a hotel, are you?
No.
So you do need to be open to going, having them experiences, and you might go over there and you might not like it, but you're not going to know until you go.
Until you try.
And that's with anywhere. It doesn't have to be Brazil, just anywhere in general, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah. So when you come over here 5 years ago, when did you actually open this place?
We opened this place 2 years ago.
Oh, was it only 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Do you know what? That makes sense actually, because I think I would have known about it earlier.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. When I moved here, I had to wait until all my visa got sorted before I could work. So I was just volunteering some charity shops. It was so funny because I was dying to work, because I've worked my whole life since I was like 18, teaching.
Teaching English.
Yes, yeah. I used to teach English and Portuguese for foreigners. So I tried to get into teaching because I have a degree, but then here I would have to study another year and pay for it. And how could I pay for it if I was not working
So if
yet?
you're qualified and you've been doing it over in Brazil actively, when you come here, you can't just come here and do it?
No, because I could, but just up to a certain level, like maybe like primary school or something like that. But then for me to teach all the levels, I would have to study another year.
Right.
So and I couldn't afford at the time to pay.
It's expensive.
Yes. So I was like, well, what should I do? So I was teaching like online. I was doing online lessons for a while. I was still with the company that I was teaching in Argentina. But then the different time zones was getting in the way. I need to get a job here. And then I started offering myself literally to work for free.
Charity shop.
Not only charity shops, I was going to like hair salons,
really?
cafes. Can you just take me? I would help you for like 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Just teach me what you need me to do and I'll do it.
Was that just to get the experience
Yes,
as well?
I
Yeah,
just wanted to get the experience. I wanted to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like start to move into the culture here, because if you're not working, if you're not interacting with people, it's very hard. And then people was like, why are you offering to work for free for me?
Yeah.
So,
again, English, like what? Why would you do that?
oh, sorry, we don't need you. But it's for free. You don't need to pay me anything. and then I was volunteering at Bernardo's shop for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I went to work in a coffee shop. And then it's like, oh, I feel good in this coffee shop environment. It feels like Brazil, like drinking coffee, being around tables, talking to people.
Yeah.
And then my husband, he loves cooking. Then we started thinking about that. Why don't we open something for us, something that would make you feel better about doing it? And remember when I told you that do something that you love, but something that you believe in, even though it's not easy. Because it's not easy to open a South American coffee shop in England when everybody is used to like carrot cake, fish and chips, or you know, Victorian sponge cake, and then I come with arepa,
which are amazing, by the way.
But mango coconut latte.
Oh, Jesus! It's on the floor now. No, I'm drunk. It's fine. That went ages ago. Yeah, but I think our sort of, I mean, there is the older generation as well, but our generation are a lot more accepting of other cultures and embrace more cultures now as well, because there is more. I mean, it's just like a pool of different cultures in the UK now, isn't it?
Definitely. I think here you have way more different cultures living together than in Brazil, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
We have our own differences in our own cultures, but here is very like international. You have people from all over the world living here. So I think now people are starting to open themselves a little bit more to new cultures, new food, new things.
Yeah, people love, I think now when, you know, places like South American, you know, I think Chinese, Indian, again, is quite a popular thing that's open here, but I think South American, Greek, like different places that aren't, you know, they're up and coming in the UK, but you don't see them as much, maybe more in London, but you don't see them that much up north.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think, you know, obviously people did embrace it. So when you opened it 3 years ago then? 2 years ago. How was that experience, like actually getting started with that?
It was like, it was very good, but it was so challenging because one thing is the business plan that you have in your head and then a piece of paper. The other thing is when you open your doors and have your first customers and your first month of like running a business. So we had to adapt so much, we had to change so much. And because it's something completely new, we are literally the first South American coffee shop in the country. You can have
congratulations.
You can have like Brazilian coffee shops or like Colombian, but you don't have one place that sells things from all over South America. So it was like a bit of a hard work to kind of educate people. So come and try this new thing. It's different, but it's good. And even trying to explain what we sell. So it was a bit of a shock for us because we thought, oh no, people are gonna try it. It's amazing. Of course they're gonna try it.
Yeah.
And it's different. When people come and say, oh, do you have fish and chips?
Do people actually come in and ask for that?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the South American cafe. Maracas.
So no, but we have this. So it was like a
Slow
little
start.
bit, a slow start, but it paid off because now we feel that people know what we do, know who we are, know what to find here, and they come back. And it's not just about the food itself, but it's about the experience of coming to Cafuné. You come here, you know what I'm talking about. It's not just the food or the coffee, it's the environment, isn't it?
Of course
it's coming like from maybe a gloomy day outside and then come here and you close your eyes, smell the coffee, and then you feel like you are in South America.
Literally, like the colours, everything. It's a nice environment, definitely. And I think, like you said, when you started working in someone else's coffee shop, it was missing that touch that you wanted, but you still had that nice. I mean, you just can't go wrong with a coffee shop, can you? Like coffee, good people, good presence, good vibes, and it's just like, it sounds.
It's where you want to go.
Yeah, it's a nice atmosphere and it's a nice place to be, and obviously it's got that nice cultural spin on it as well. When are you back open?
17th of May. Oh my god, I can't wait.
I will be knocking on the door. First thing in the morning.
Save the date.
Yes,
Save the date.
I will definitely save the date. 17th of May. Is that a weekend?
I think it's middle of the week.
Middle of the
I
week.
think so.
I'll
Sure.
be down the following weekend, definitely.
I'll just send you a reminder.
Yes, please do, because the food is just unreal. Have we got in a new menu as well, or is it?
We are like at the moment working on the menu. Maybe we're gonna change some things. We're still deciding. We're at the moment just giving a revamp in the shop, doing some painting, getting some new equipment for our staff as well, getting ready to come back like in grand style.
And you had the little one in the pandemic, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, the peak of pandemic in April last year.
So you're coming back, because obviously you didn't open at all after lockdown,
We
did you?
opened for like a month or two in August.
Right.
And then we had to close again because of the second lockdown. And for us, lots of people, do delivery, do takeout, but for us it was not worth it because of our staff, because we wouldn't feel safe enough to be doing that, especially having a little one at home. So we decided, no, let's take this time off. Let's wait until it's really safe for everyone. And then we can come back when it's time.
Yeah, and now you're coming back, and you have a little baby now as well.
I know.
Hopefully that's the
gonna
last
be
of the
crazy.
lockdowns. But yeah, there's so much has happened in that year, isn't it?
So much. So in 5 years, I moved to a new country. I changed my career. I opened a new business with my partner. I had a baby.
That's
So
amazing.
much.
It's nice though, like, you know, 5 years ago, if you looked at yourself 5 years ago compared to now,
I would never, ever would have imagined that I would be here today talking to you in my coffee shop with my baby downstairs.
Yeah, you just don't know, do you?
No, you
don't know
don't
what's
know.
going to happen.
You don't know. I would think that I would be like teaching a very good language school in Brazil, maybe having my life there in Brazil. I would never think that I would be here.
It just
doing
shows,
something
doesn't it?
completely
You gotta just go with the flow to some degree, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Know what you want and know what you don't want, because when I came here, I was open to lots of things, but I also knew what I didn't want to be doing, and this helps you to focus on putting your energy and your work in something that you believe.
Do you miss teaching?
I do, but I get to teach here because I have to teach my staff.
Okay.
I have to train them, so I have this experience now. And then with this other project that I have with the social media,
Of course, yeah.
I get to also teach people how to use their social media for their businesses in a better way. So it's teaching.
Yeah, so in a way, again, like from doing teaching, if you came over here and you could just jump into teaching, that wouldn't have taught you that you can have your own place, bring that culture to the UK and still teach, you know,
in a
in
different
other ways.
format.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
so
it.
there you go. It's all a learning curve, isn't it?
You would not think that you would be teaching people to get fit in Zoom classes, would you?
Not in Zoom classes. I mean, I've always gone in and out of fitness, but I didn't think that was the end goal. And you never know what's going to happen. It might not be the end goal. I might be the next Oprah.
Exactly.
So, you know, you don't know where it's going to take you. 5 years' time, you know.
Cora Elise might be in the BBC.
It could happen. I'm manifesting all goodness.
Exactly.
So make sure you share this podcast. What we're going to do is a final four. So it's 4 fire questions. I say 5 questions on everyone, but it never ends up being 5 questions. It always ends up being like an essay and ends up going on for another hour, but it's fine. Just take your time, short or long answers, whatever you feel fit for it, all right? So, first question is, if you had the chance, would you have done anything differently?
No, because I wouldn't be here.
Perfect answer. Beautiful answer. That was a short one as well. Well done. Proud of you. Something you do every day to help you stay focused, whether that's mentally or spiritually. Daily habits.
Listen to music.
Nice.
Every day. Every day a little bit. Even when I'm putting my baby to sleep, I put earphones, listen to music, brings me good feelings, good vibes, and calms me down.
Yeah, music
and
is...
drink coffee.
Yeah, coffee as well. Definitely, coffee and music. It's a dream. Music is just, I think, it's just the way to so many emotions, isn't it? Like, if you're feeling happy, listen to it. If you feel sad, like, it just helps you through so many things. What music do you listen to?
Everything, to be honest. But I listen lots of Brazilian music, Latin music, English music.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, everything. Ed Sheeran, everything. Adele when I'm suffering.
Yeah, there you go. Every music has a purpose, definitely. One piece of advice for someone starting their own business or owning a shop like yourself. I think you've kind of covered it, but you know, some more.
Focus, persistent. Think about money. Don't just go like, oh, I love this. I have to do this because it's beautiful. You have to think about money because if you start your own business but it doesn't make money, it's not a business.
Yeah.
So you have to believe in what you do, have focus, and think about money.
Yeah, you've got to have a plan, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Biggest life lesson?
Be open to change your plans all the way.
Yeah.
Make plans, but be open to change them completely.
Was that a harsh lesson, would you say? Harsh reality.
It's 2 ways.
It's still a life lesson.
It's 2 ways because I think, especially after becoming a mom, you have to adapt even more quickly to changes.
Yeah.
It is so hard.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because you still like finding yourself again, like this new person that you become after you become a mom. Because I'm not just a mom. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a woman, I have
You're
my business, I'm my
well.
own person, I have my own beliefs, and they change all the time with these life changes as well. So be open to make new plans if it's necessary.
Your book has so many chapters, doesn't it, really? Like, you have the transition from Brazil to the UK and then the transition to motherhood. I mean, who knows what's next?
That's why I don't know if I'll ever find like my identity again. It's like I have millions of them.
But that's not a bad thing. I mean, you know, we're always finding ourselves. I don't think we ever sort of get to the destination.
True. That's true.
You know, reflection.
And if you do, it means that you're not looking around
stagnant
anymore. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You've got to always just keep growing, haven't you? So. You're on the right path. Don't think that you've completely lost your identity, and you still sound Brazilian. So I mean, if you come in one day and you're right, love, then I'll be worried.
How are you?
Yeah,
you're right.
Where can the listeners find you online?
You can find me in Livia Almeida Digital, Cafuné Coffee Shop UK, in Instagram. Yeah, you can find me there.
Instagram. And that's for the social media and the Cafuné coffee shop. Yeah. Cafuné. Yes.
Cafuné. Yeah. He's been speaking Portuguese.
No, what was that? What that mean?
Arroba.
Arroba.
At. The.
Ah.
Yeah, arroba.
Arroba. I like it. I'm gonna be you'd have to teach me Portuguese, honestly.
This is my brain getting tired. I start mixing languages.
I think we should do it all again in Portuguese. It's been so nice having you on.
So nice.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share. And yeah,
thanks for having me.
you.
It was so fun.